All right, now let's give our Porsche some sort of a rival, or I would say brother in speed. So we prepared the second model too, so the GT3 version, like not the road one. This is the street legal, but we need also another one, so we will make them race each other. So here I will create the new folder for the content, which will be Porsche GT3. And just as before, we have all the body meshes. As I mentioned, I will be using those brake calipers from this model because they look better, they are more high poly, they have better quality. So I will be using the calipers from this one. Right now, let's import our meshes again. So we'll go with the body. For the body, we will be using combined meshes. I'll be doing that a little bit faster, not as detailed as with this rig, just for time saving. But repeating this process multiple times just gives you better experience in that, and you'll be understanding better how to rig this thing. Okay, and the last one is the glass. As remember, we do not merge the glass, so we import this with not combined meshes. So with the combined meshes disabled, for other meshes we need them to be combined. And first what we're gonna do is check our wheel pivot. So actually it has the wheels the same. I think they are the same size, so we can technically use both of the wheels, but for the sake of the tutorial, let's keep it for rear wheel and front wheel different meshes. But if the wheels are the same, you can keep them as it is. So form, pivot, center, accept. Let's see if it is rotating properly. Yep, all good, all works nice. Okay, amazing. So now we do the same for the rear wheel. Edit, pivot, center, and accept. Great, that works. Now I will just go to the car rig blueprints and duplicate the rig and name it GT3, because I don't want to align again the position of the brakes. They are already there, and we have some functions for the brake and so on, but we would definitely need to edit the material indexes after that because the shading is not the same. So here we have our body. We can go to the rig structure, clear all of that, clear the wheels, and delete all these additional meshes that we have here. Okay, now we have only brakes, brake calipers, and the suspension prepared. So let's put on the body from the GT3 version, apply it here to the body mesh, wheel front, stick it to the front wheels, and wheel rear one. Put it here. We already have the brake calipers, and the brake calipers had the position in the center of the offset of the pivot, so that will not change. It will be fitting pretty good. As you can see, there is some already materials assigned because it has the index which is different from the previous one, and those probably should be the lights and brake lights. But currently we are not going to fix that. First we need to prepare the rig. Okay, we need to set the offset. I think this one is wider because, well, obviously it is the racing version. So let's set the front side wheel offset about 88. Oh, I think that will work good. No, too much. 87 is probably the best option because it's really, really wide and it's really low. Always, all these cars are super low. This one should be 87 probably too because the wheel size is the same. Yeah, kind of like that, correct. And we need to do the rear axle offset a little bit back so it will be in the center. Let's put something like 129. That looks good for me. Perfect. Now let's check the suspension. So it is a little bit off, I guess. Yeah, right, it's a little bit off. We can put it even more inside. So to offset the position of the suspension, you can use this mount correction. So the mount correction should be something like 5 or 4. Yeah, 4 works the best, I think. Yes, it doesn't protrude through other geometry of the wheel and the brakes. So it all works good here. Probably the same we can do for the rear suspension. You see there's even like space cut out for this purpose. So let's also put it to 4. And maybe we can put it even higher. Just a wild guess. So let's go with the rear suspension like 55 probably. Yeah, I think that works really nice. Okay, good. Not quite realistic probably. So let's go back to 50 because this should be in the resting state, right? Okay. The only one thing with the calipers that they are a little bit bigger because we have the rim, which is smaller than the previous model of the Porsche. So we need to scale the caliper a little bit. That's not a problem. We can do that by selecting the caliper mesh, and maybe the sizing should be something like 0.95. So it will not, get inside the wheel, maybe even 0.9, just for the sake of it. Yeah, we can offset it a little bit, so probably higher and a little bit to the inside because it's not touching the brake disc. It should be like really close to the brake disc. Okay, that looks better. Maybe a little bit to the inside. Nice. So you can copy this sizing and put it here, 0.9, and adjust the position also the same way. You can copy the positions, the location of the caliper. Let's see how that works. Paste. Yes, a little bit higher and a little bit inside. Nice, that looks good. Let's go to the rear caliper. It is also a little bit bigger, so probably we can try here, but it's smaller in the case here. 0.95 would be okay, and maybe a little bit to the right, so it doesn't touch the wheel itself. Same we go here, so 0.95, and let's copy the position of this wheel and paste. Yes, correct. Yeah, the front brake looks a little bit off, so probably I wasn't right with the sizing, so there should be 0.95. But in that case, it just goes a little bit inside the wheel, so we need again to readjust the position. So the purpose is just to make it not go through the brake disc. I think this is okay-ish. 95 in the position. Let's go here. Position paste here and 95. That's fine for me for this current model. Now let's quickly shade the body and check the material IDs. I think we also have some textures with this model, so let's import the textures. First, let's create this folder for the textures, and that should be Porsche GT3 textures. Okay, so it doesn't have the car paint texture or the car paint color, so we will use the one from the automotive material pack, car paint. I don't know what should that be, but let it be. Actually, this one probably may look good. Okay, let's give it a try, or maybe silver paint. I would like to have something gray or maybe even matte gray, so we can get this car paint silver and make it dark silver and assign it here and change some of the parameters. You can do a lot of things with this material pack. There is a lot of settings which you can play around with. So let's make it a little bit darker, and I probably reduce the paint roughness, make it more matte, because I just believe this one should be a little bit more matte, not like the usual car paint. So yeah, more matte color looks good for me. Maybe we'll change it later, but doesn't matter. This one is the mechanics. Let's see, it's all inside basically. It's all covered. What we can see from this part, it's most of that is just blackout volumes. So I think something like black plastic should work, or plastic satin. Let's use the plastic here, or maybe we have the texture for that. Just curious. No, we don't. Fortunately, this model also doesn't have any sort of, I would say, roughness maps or normal maps. So again, it's a free model. The details, I think those are just metallic. So let's use the steel material, MI metal steel. Look how that looks like. Yeah, I think that is good. Oh, maybe because there is a logo, so that details should be in the textures. Yeah, this one, I think that's the display. Yeah, there are not a lot of textures which are provided with this model, so that's really strange, but that is fine, I guess. For now, we'll see what we can do later. The grade, it's probably carbon fiber there. Oh, there are the lights, headlight. That's the plastic. That's not the emissive one. Plastic clean. Light front. That's what is going to be. It's not. No, it's not what is going to be emissive. So this one is chrome, I guess. But it says that it is emissive, so probably this one will be glass. Let's put chrome for now. And this one is emissive rare light, which is quite interesting because it's hidden partially. So that is going to be brakes. Just curious. Let's first try how it looks like, and we will see later. So red lamp here. This for me doesn't look proper, but maybe for the GT3 version they just didn't bother with all of these details and just went like this. Oh yeah, that's the glass clear. So this one, which is chrome, will be our headlights. They will work afterwards. Looks pretty legit. This one is also, let's use the satin plastic because it's basically again the blackout, so the light will not leak through this. Exhaust, that we can use steel. It's not kind of super realistic because it should be a little bit burned, but looks fine. Let's assume that's the new one, just straight out of from the factory. Front, this one should be a grille, but we will use the plastic holes. The black one. Front grille. Looks pretty legit. Car paint plastic. I doubt that. I think that should be rubber. So that's rubber smooth. Here we go. Yes, looks good. Wing panel. I think that should be carbon fiber. I'm just like assuming they're doing my own understanding of that. Mirrors. We have the mirror material also in the automotive pack. I decided here. That is the number plate. I'm just curious if we at least have the number plate. Nope, we don't have any of this. That is really, really strange, but let it be. We will probably use the transparent material for that, or just create the texture in the Photoshop for that a little bit later. Interior, that is aluminum. If I know something about the interiors of these kind of cars, that should be like really metallic part, bare aluminum. They remove everything usually. The seat, again, nothing here with the texture. It's the net, display, belt, but no seat, unfortunately. Let's leave it like that for now. Plastic. Okay, I can trust this naming in this case. Plastic clean, here we go. Oh, this is the roll bar, the part of the roll bar. It should be soft. I'll just put with the plastic right now. Dashboard, for the dashboard. That also should be plastic, but I'll go with this plastic small grain. Because it has a lot of like texture, it looks realistic, and it's cheap. They are not gonna put expensive materials on this one. Interior LEDs. I doubt that we have the dashboard. We'll have it in the look for that a little bit later. Interior glass. Don't think it's worth because it won't be seen. Electronics. All of the electronics, that's really interesting as there should be a lot of different materials, and I doubt again that we have the interior electronics. We have only the dashboard, but there's basically no electronics whatsoever for using of that one. So part of the textures are not provided with this model, but it's not a big of an issue. We still can use any sort of plastic for that, just to cover that and make it black, but not the default material. Even though right now it looks pretty fine. So if we switch a little bit to path tracing, that looks pretty real, I would say. Okay, electronics metal. Let's go with this metal steel. There are a lot of details, just a lot of them. Okay, and electronics too. I guess those pipes also should be plastic. Plastic clean, here we go. That's the display, that's the dashboard, which we want. So as I did before, we'll create the material. Check if we have alpha channel, but probably, yeah, the display is plain, so we don't need to worry about that one. So let's go to emissive color and add some roughness and make the roughness 0, so it will be a glossy display, which we can use here. Take this material and put it on the display. Works fine. Okay, so let's continue with this one. What we have here, decals. They're just black. I checked it with this model and it doesn't have the textures too, so this is fine. We will be working with this one, with this type of shading. Okay, let's continue with this one. Interior carbon, that's pretty easy. We have the carbon fiber, quickly add here. Welding, that should be metal. I think the cage is the aluminum, so I think we'll go with this one too. So to just match the color of the welding, we don't have the texture for the welding, so this is what we get. Okay, let's try the Sandblast 2 here for the interior cage. Okay, this is just the soft paddings, steering wheel. That is also missing the texture, so I think this one should be, well, that should be split, by the way. This should be other part, that should be grip with this some sort of rubber or leather, but I don't think we have something like that, so just let's use the plastic leather so it will look something okayish. Steering carbon fiber again, so we will apply carbon here. Belt, at least for the belt I think we have the texture, so yeah, that's the belt. Let's create the material. It also doesn't have the normal map, but we will not be looking inside for this particular project, so this is just enough. Unfortunately, yeah, this is the thing when you're dealing with the free models which you download from the internet. Most of the time they have some sort of textures, but sometimes they don't. Net, we also have the net. Yeah, here we have it. Okay, net, we can apply it here. Okay, looks fine, I guess, for this one. This one is the display. So this is the one, yes. So let's create material from this display. Also doesn't have anything, but I want it to be glossy and probably with some emissive light, because those are some sort of LEDs. But let's do that just for now. For roughness and make it glossy. Let's see how it works with the emissive color. Not quite good, but let's keep it this way, assuming it is off, and apply this material here. You can actually go to Photoshop and put the number you like on here by making the mask for the emissiveness, just by painting some of the squares white and then apply that as the emissive mask. Plastic again. A little bit plastic clean. And some other parts. The last one is, I guess it's rubber. Here we go. This one also should have probably the logo, but maybe they removed the logo. Here we have it black and dark, so let's probably keep it that way and go for metal painted. It was somewhere in the very beginning. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, it looks interesting, at least for now. Okay. Now let's get with the wheels. GT3 front wheel. I just hope that the brake caliper is separate. Yes, it is, but strangely enough, this one is connected with the mount, so we have to disconnect this one. So let's go to the modeling tools, grab the wheel, and basically go into modeling tools, attributes, and edit materials. Disable the visibility of this one and see how we can connect it by material connected. I just hope that it is not connected somewhere else with this part. Fortunately, it's really uncomfortable to pick it like this. But we've got to do what we've got to do. So we don't want to switch to Blender, back again, redoing the pivots. You can do that from the very beginning in Blender, but still, you never know that what you are expecting here, expected to have. I think that would be just easier if I pick the material all, click on that one, and then just deselect the brake rotor. This one is the mount and this is the brake rotor, and deselect this one. And we will assign the new material here. We'll create the new material slot, select the number 3. Let's put the bolt grid material here and assign active material for this one. Okay, I'm not gonna repeat this procedure for the front wheel because we saw that the wheels are actually the same. So I'll just assign it here. Let's see how the rotor right now works. So this is the carbon ceramic. Okay, this is good. We will be adjusting that because there is a thing how to fix when the UV maps on the model are really bad and they don't apply properly. We will gonna fix that a little bit later. Let's first apply our again gunmetal color for the rim, and for this one that should be something like maybe this one will work too actually. Yeah, looks nice. And for the tire we have the tire texture, which we will create the material of. Again, doesn't have unfortunately any sort of normal map, but we will add some roughness to it by basically again stealing from the automotive material pack, from the rough rubber. We'll be stealing the roughness map for this tire, roughness map, and connected to roughness. So yeah, at least it gives us some texture and some feeling of the rubber which we need. Okay, now we will apply this material to our tire. Okay, actually it looks pretty legit. And we will now apply this wheel also to the front because, as I said, they are the same size as the front one and the rear one. Probably let's move a little bit inside the front wheel. Yeah. And we are actually got lucky because we have the same material slot for the brake. So if we now gonna use our function for brake heat, it will be working also with this new car. So if I place it into the scene and try right now to use the brake temperature, it will also be working here for both of our wheels. Okay, right now let's fix this thing with the wheel. As I said, we are having like the worst case scenario with this with this model. Okay, get the wheel and let's turn it to the light side so we can see what is happening. So the thing is, we have this problem with the wheel here. But the thing is that actually we can't change it. As you see here, it is working fine. All the cracks and all of the wear lines are in the proper position. But if we change these values for this wheel, it will be also changing here. So we can create another material instance. So if I open this model again, go to material instance, and I can name it, for example, GT3R for this new model and apply it here. So we have different material instance which we can now work on and tile it as we want. So I'm opening this new material instance which we created. So basically material instance is what allows you to do the changes of the same master material but for each mesh separately. And here we can try to disable use object UVs, because object UVs are really like bad here. As you can see, it immediately works properly, because in that case it uses the global UVs, and right now it is fine. The wear lines are on the spot, but what we also can see here that there is a difference in the cracks, because they are a little bit scaled not properly. So we can change the scale by increasing this value. It will give us smaller size of the cracks. Also, we can try to use the tiling to see if it changes also. No, the cracks doesn't have the tiling, so unfortunately, yeah, we can have it like this. And if you look from here, it's looking fine. So we can actually disable the cracks for this particular break. So we will have some difference. So if that looks not proper, we can always disable that. And with the material instance, because we also have the heat, it will be working. All gonna work as we intended, because we also have this parameter in the material. So the next thing is to change few settings in our blueprint, because we have the different material numbers right now for the brakes, for example, and for the headlights. So I just don't want to waste a lot of your time. Let's go and quickly redo this. This one, emissive light, number 5. So that's going to be daylights. DRL, daylights. It's number 5. So number 5. This one we don't need right now, because the rare one is just completely off and not correct with the materials and the geometry itself. Next thing what we're gonna do is we're gonna use the brake lights. The brake light index in our model is number 6. Okay, good, number 6. So we just change this material for the brake number 6. And for the brake, for the blinkers, I think we are not gonna use blinkers for this particular model, because, well, that will just take a lot of time. But you know the principle, how we can do that the same as we did on our previous model. So not a big deal for that, just time consuming. And let's put the glass on, body. We need to select the component first, as I said, component first, and then just apply these 6 models here, and it will fit perfectly. Okay, this is the whole glass exterior, so this one should be glass clear. Put it here. The thing is that this model have like 2 layers of glass. Environment. Okay. This one is the covers. They are plastic. Let's make it plastic satin. Others, this one, this one. This one's we already had. Okay. So that's the rare one. It should be just, I think, just glass again. Clear. And for this one, also glass clear, because it's the headlights. So that looks pretty nice. Almost. There are 2 layers of glass, and we'll see how it will work, because I believe that might be a problem. But actually, in that case, we don't need this one. We already have 1 layer of glass. We don't need multiple layers for this purpose. So let's remove this one and this one, as we already have this. Okay, compile and save. And if we drop right now our rig into the scene and check the functions which we have, such as daylights, this model really strange split, break, that actually looks fine, to be honest, but still I think not correct. We can split this one differently, but it's just, again, you can do it yourself or you can do that in Blender. I'm not gonna waste your time anymore for this one. I'll probably just fix the daylights because this is not how it should be working, because we don't have the emissive map. We should have had emissive map for this particular part. So we're gonna just split that one and assign the chrome to the parts which should not be glowing. So because this one is really looking strange. Okay, so let's do this quickly. Porsche, this is the body. Oops. Okay, let's attributes, edit materials. Let's see what we can do. Material, connected. So this one should not be the emissive one. This should not be the emissive one. I think that one can actually be, but those are not, definitely are not. Those are reflectors. Okay, that looks a little bit better. Let's see what we have. Material number 9 will be fine. 9. Assign active material, accept. And let's try again to see how that works. Daylights. Yes, now the reflector works as it intended. Still, it's not a very good result, because I think only the lamps, the small lamps, should be actually emitting light, and they will be reflecting all of that inside of this chrome reflectors. So anyway, for this we also would need some texture probably here, so we can create one in Photoshop just by creating new, let it be 2000 by 2000. Just add some text. Let it be black color, like 27 for like double J, double jump, and make it huge, huge. I hope the UV maps on this car is fine. And we don't need any background, and save it as PNG. Okay, and we'll create the material right now out of it. Number material, make it masked, and connect alpha channel into opacity mask. Save it, and let's see how will that work. Yep, the UV maps are just not there. They are not proper and they're not correct. I can fix that. Texture coordinate. Let's see, like this. And let's see how will that work. Yes, so it is 4 times or like 2 times smaller or bigger. So basically this texture coordinate node can define the tiling of your texture. So in that case, we tiled the texture 2 times by U and V, basically by X and Y axis, and made it 4 times in one square. And that actually worked. So the UV there was not correct, or like not plain, but right now it looks just enough. Yeah, I really like it. I think it's really good, like for that quick result. So here we have 2 cars prepared. One is a little bit worse, but otherwise it looks really, really good. And that's it for module 2.